Hey folks, today is Friday, November 21st, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. It's been a busy week, so we should just jump in with the first story. Last week, we talked about Ubisoft, with them halting trading on the stock market and delaying their earnings announcements and stuff like that. The whole thing was, what is Ubisoft doing? Well, now we finally know. Well, the Ubisoft news turned out to be, I guess, a nothing burger or whatever that word is, because essentially they didn't come out this morning and say that they were getting acquired or anything like that. The speculation was totally off, at least for now. According to GameFile, Ubisoft said that the delay was due to the appointment of new company auditors in July and the need to restate its 2025 fiscal accounts due to accounting issues around some of the company's partnerships, aka boring. Nothing crazy, but just silly Ubisoft being Ubisoft. With these finally published financial results, we did get little nuggets like that Assassin's Creed as a franchise has exceeded their expectations, and that 1.16 billion euro partnership deal with Tencent, that whole thing where they're kind of doing like a spin-off, apparently that deal is coming to a close within the coming days. So the launch of this new kind of like Tencent Ubisoft hybrid collaboration, Vantage Studios, is coming soon. And it's important to note that this company will now kind of shepherd or own Ubisoft's biggest stuff, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. Does this mean that Ubisoft itself is saved overnight? I mean, I don't know. They also had announced like that they laid off a total of 1,500 people more recently. I don't think they're out of the woods yet by like partially bailing to investment with Tencent, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. What is more interesting in terms of Ubisoft today is that Insider Gaming is actually reporting that the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remake that we've talked about quite a bit in the past, it's leaked quite a bit, and Insider Gaming has a good track record with some leaks. They are reporting that they have heard that the game is set to launch before March 31st, 2026, which means the release of the Black Flag remake is potentially imminent. I am looking forward to this because Black Flag is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. I don't know if it needed a remake. Look, we've talked about this a lot, but I think long story short, I think this is a good bet. This just seems like a logical window of time. It would be nice for them to drop this game during a quieter season, not dropping in the middle of Grand Theft Auto 6 time or anything like that. But it's not confirmed. It's just Insider Gaming reporting, so we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, if you want to read up on the Ubisoft stuff, like get a smarter take on it, all the real information will be linked in the description down below. So let me know what you think about the future of all this. Next up, we got to talk about the Game Awards. The Game Awards this week got a whole suite of announcements related to the nominees. We know all the games that are going to be nominated for Jeff Keighley's big ceremony, big award ceremony. And of course, the big thing is Game of the Year. So just off the top of the jump, Game of the Year nominees this year are Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Along with that, it was just a big year for games getting nominated a lot in separate categories. A whopping 12 nominations for Expedition 33, 7 nominations for Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2, 6 nominations for Hades 2, 5 nominations for Silksong, 4 nominations for Split Fiction, and then of course a bunch of other stuff spread throughout. I don't mind games cleaning up. It is what it is, but for me, I like other games to at least shine in categories, and when you do have, the performance category, best voice actor performance category, with 3 of those slots taken up just by Expedition 33, I would have loved some other games gotten the time to shine in that nominee category, but that's just me. Look, the Game of the Year thing, people always argue, but either way, the Game Awards from Jeff Keighley, as fun as it can be, and I'm looking forward to some announcements coming from it too, it's not the end-all be-all. Plenty of content creators, websites, streamers, all do their own little Game of the Year type discussions and award shows, not to mention the Golden Joysticks Award, the BAFTA Awards, Indie Game Awards. There's plenty of trophies to go around. Just saying though, like looking at all the lists, the front runner, the big heavyweight this year is Expedition 33. So if you're sick of that game, prepare to be more sick of it. Also, I really like that game. So sorry. Let me know what you think though. Hit us up down in the comments. Next up, we got to talk about a bunch of new game announcements. Part of this comes from Xbox's partner showcase, where they highlighted some third-party games. And it's just been a week for trailers and announcements and gameplay dropping overall. The first is a new look at Reanimal. I've been very excited about this one because this is from the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, who went off to do their own thing. This is a cooperative adventure in the same vein as those original games. It looks absolutely awesome. I played a preview version of it a few months back. Now we know that it's got a demo. You can check it out right now. And the full game is releasing February 13th, 2026. Along with that, we also got a new gameplay look at Tides of Annihilation. This action combat game still looks incredibly ambitious and over the top and almost too good to be true, but this just looks sweet. I remember the first trailer really blew me away, and I'm glad they're showing more now. Next up, before we keep going, let's talk about the sponsor of this video. It's Vessi. If you're new around here, you should know by now that Vessi provides comfortable, dependable footwear that's also 100% waterproof. Yes, that's right, the shoes are waterproof, giving you a really good level of freedom, but it doesn't feel like a waterproof shoe. It's comfy, keeps your feet cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And it's perfect this time of year during the holiday hustle, right? Whether you're running through parking lots trying to get last minute gifts or you're picking up extra shifts at work, chances are you're gonna encounter some harsh weather at some point. And to know you can keep going with your feet staying dry, that's just a win-win. They offer different shapes, colors, sizes for every person, every situation, but lately I've been rocking the Stormburst. Highly recommend them. They come in both low and high top. I have a high top variant right here, but I rock these all the time for the extra thick, grippy sole if you like to get a little adventurous. Nice, stretchy, almost sock-like fit, and just really comfortable. The Stormburst and any other cool styles they got are solid. They're low maintenance, they make a great gift, and this time of year with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that stuff going on, now is the time to jump on. 1-year warranty on all shoes, 30-day worry-free returns and exchanges, and free shipping on orders over $110 in North America. So if you want to check it out, click the link in the description down below or head to vessi.com. Like I said, it's that time of year for good sales. Vessi is offering 25% off site-wide, with select styles up to 55% off for a limited time only. So again, all you got to do is head to vessi.com. Select styles up to 55% off for a limited time only and 25% off site-wide. Check it out, and big thanks to Vessi for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. Also, check this out. This is Armatus. This is kind of like, I'd say, a Returnal-like. It's a roguelike shooter that is probably pretty challenging. You run around in third person, shooting and melee, and a really cool, badass-looking main character. I'm very curious to see more of this. The combat looks cool. The art style looks cool. And it's actually from the people who made Godfall, believe it or not, which was, you know, one of the less well-received launch titles for PlayStation 5. But I think it had some merits, and some of that was tight combat design and visuals. So hopefully they take things that they've learned from Godfall and make something cool here. I'm willing to give them another shot. Also, it is a time of roguelikes, but check this one out. This is an indie one called Erosion. This is like a voxel-based dungeon game with a little bit of like a Western flair to it and some time loop elements. It's just got some good style to it. I'm really into it. Also, the people behind Vampire Survivors announced their next thing with a cool, flashy trailer that kind of pokes fun at them taking a big budget now and going fully 3D, endless open world, and then saying, just kidding, we made another like weird little RPG style game. Vampire Crawlers, I guess, is like the spiritual successor to Vampire Survivors, but it looks like it's got a lot going on. It's kind of like an old school first person dungeon crawler like the old Elder Scrolls games, or even like a King's Field or something like that, mixed with a card battler and a bunch of other different RPG elements. The style is what you'd expect. This seems potentially cool and possibly up my alley. No release date yet, but we know it's coming for all the platforms in 2026. Also, we got a new gameplay trailer for something I've been really looking forward to, a Hellraiser Revival. This is a first-person game based on the classic Clive Barker franchise that I enjoyed quite a bit. I can't really show too much of this trailer because it's like disgusting and gory and over the top, but it shows that they're going for it. It's keeping the disgusting nature and weird, grimy undertones of the original movies, and that's good to see. It's also really giving me like Condemned Criminal Origins vibes, just in terms of like the gore, the melee, and you just like hitting grimy characters with melee weapons. That was one of my favorite games, so it's cool to see that here. Still no release date yet. I guess we're just gonna have to keep waiting. Next up, this this really caught me by surprise. The Hitman World of Assassination, you know, the great, incredible Hitman compilation of Hitman 1, 2, and 3, kind of like an endlessly replayable package, still is getting elusive targets, you know, characters dropped into the game, kind of timed events where you get to do special assassinations. They've done it before. This one is featuring Eminem. Yes, rapper Eminem, who hires Agent 47 to kill his alter ego, Slim Shady. I'm actually getting goosebumps saying this out loud right now as someone who grew up with like the original Hitman games and also like the return of like the old school style Slim Shady here. That's just it's crazy. Is it silly? Absolutely. Am I going to re-download Hitman and play this? You bet your ass. You can play this mission for free and it's coming December 1st. Also, in terms of Xbox announcements, they just straight up shadow dropped Silent Hill 2. Yes, the Silent Hill 2 remake, which originally released on PS5 and PC last year, is finally on Xbox. And now a bunch more people get to check that out. Along with that, check this out. This is Zoopunk. This looks absolutely incredible. This is essentially a 3D action adventure game focused on a lot of combat and exploration, where you play as these like anthropomorphized creatures, like a badass rabbit swordsman. We saw a squirrel, a bunch of other creatures. This is actually from a studio that already made a game called Fist, forged in Shadow Torch. It was a bit more of like a 2D style quirky game, but kind of the same universe, same vibe. And now here it looks like they're going all out. It looks incredibly impressive. A lot of people immediately thought it was just like a bunch of generative AI, but the developers have clarified that that is not the case. And I just like the idea of like a badass trench coat swordsman rabbit riding a cool diesel punk motorcycle in this weird diesel punk fantasy world killing dudes. It's just a good idea. Just good old fashioned creativity. It kind of reminds me like what if Conker's Bad Fur Day was even more badass, and that's good. But what do you guys think? Along with this, we know that Dave the Diver is coming to Xbox with like a jungle themed DLC. This is going to be in 2026. Also, The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. This just seems crazy. This is a quote unquote Lovecraftian co-op survival horror game. You know, why not? Also, that aside, it was a week of games just getting cool, fun, new updates for free. The first is Mafia: The Old Country, which I really enjoyed that game, but it definitely could use a little extra stuff, and now we got it with the Free Ride update. This has a bunch of stuff like car races, horse races that should have been in the original game, optional stuff like that, way more weapons, skins, unlockables, character upgrades, a full photo mode, which I really wanted because this game is absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty underrated in that regard. And a cool new black and white mode that's kind of like a filter, but also a sound filter. It's kind of going for old school Italian films. It's called Siciliano mode, and I really like that. So this is actually out now. Also, Ghost of Yotei got New Game Plus mode, something it definitely should have had, but it's really nice to see that. Sony tends to do that with a lot of their big first-party releases. They drop the game, and then very soon after, add in that New Game Plus mode, and I'm glad Yotei got it. Also, Assassin's Creed Mirage, the kind of smaller scale, more traditional style Assassin's Creed game experience that I should have loved, but I didn't quite love. It did get some free DLC, like a whole update, and now this new content. It's called Valley of Memory, and it's apparently actually pretty good. I've watched some people play through some of it, and I think I'm going to re-download it and give it a shot. Also, separately, a new game was announced that definitely caught our eye. It might be too good to be true, but it looks potentially cool. Check this out. This is the Vernyhorn. This is a third-person cinematic open world RPG. Yes, all the buzzwords here with some big flashy Unreal Engine 5, presumably, graphics and realistic swordplay. Apparently, they used motion capture with a real live swordmaster, which is pretty sweet. This actually looks really, really cool, but I've been fooled by flashy game trailers before that promised a lot of stuff. That being said, this does show like the real people working on the game, so that's a good sign. Just the developer, I don't really know too much about them. It seems like it might be one of their first things, like a studio formed just for this, so just something to keep your eye on. Because if they can actually make good on what they've shown in this trailer, it could be a potentially cool-ass game. Next up, in terms of video game releases this week, last week we talked about a bunch of stuff. Tarkov coming over to Steam, as well as Anno 117, which I really, really enjoyed. Where Winds Meet, the massive, ambitious, free-to-play third-person adventure game. But this week, a lot of releases as well. First up, Demon's School, which definitely looks like a lot of fun. It's got a ton of style to it. Also, Deadpool VR, which I did play a few months back. I played a little bit of it. It's kind of what you expect, but it's a good time. Also, Stalker 2 getting released on PS5. It's nice to see that all kind of finally coming together all right. The game is getting plenty of updates over time. Also, on Nintendo Switch, Kirby Air Riders. Sakurai has returned with a new game, and it's Kirby riding a cloud. Also, in some brief entertainment news this week, Nintendo social media, Miyamoto himself specifically took to social media to post the first official photos from the Legend of Zelda movie directed by Wes Ball. We've talked about about the actors before. We know who is playing Link and Princess Zelda, and now we've got photos of them in all their glory. I'm happy to at least see this Link wearing a green tunic. I think it potentially looks cool, but I'm going to judge the movie for itself when I actually see it. But these photos are nice. That's just me, though. Let me know what you guys think. Also, we just got a trailer for the Silent Hill movie. They're doing it again. This is Return to Silent Hill, and this is essentially Silent Hill 2. The movie in a lot of ways. The composer of the games is doing the music here. It seems like it's got a lot of the imagery down pat. It's just a very flashy, crazy edited trailer that kind of counteracts the whole subdued nature of Silent Hill 2. Maybe they're onto something. I don't know for sure. It's hard to tell from the trailer, but if you were curious to see it, it's linked below. And that's what I got for you this week. The only other thing I will say is that we did an interview with people at Valve on the Friends Per Second podcast I do with SkillUp and Lucy James. That's coming out this weekend, and we talk to Valve and get to ask them questions about Steam Deck, Steam Machine, Steam Frame, all that stuff. So keep your eyes peeled for that for sure. But again, that's all I got for you this week. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking about all the stories. Are you going to try and kill Slim Shady as Agent 47? Of all the new game announcements we talked about, there was a lot of stuff. What caught your eye? Did anything catch your eye? There was more, but I couldn't fit it all in this video. So hit me up with what you're into. Of course, let us know in the comments what you're currently playing for research purposes. And that's all I really got for you. So clicking the like button helps me out. It helps us out. We appreciate it. We're just getting caught up on the news every single week. But also subscribe if you're new, because we put out videos every single day, man. But that's it. I'm Jake Baldino. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me. See ya.